victims of the punt time. We're talking Randwick, the final Group 1s of the Sydney Autumn Carnival. It's a really decent card, especially the back end. There's a few cracking races, including a benchmark 100, which I can't actually recall the last time I saw a benchmark 100. But Mark Shean, I'll start with you. Solid meeting overall. Your initial thoughts while doing the form?
Yeah, well, we've got the rail out to the 6 metre mark, which is some concern that it may favour horses on speed. We've had a lot of bias in Sydney racing in the last 12 months. It didn't stop on Wednesday either. And, you know, it could continue on Saturday that you have to be sort of up in the leading division.
Okay, and do I dare ask if we've got a weather update and irrigation report at all?
Well, the weather's beautifully fine at the moment. I believe 1 mil went on, I think, Wednesday at some stage. So we're just fingers crossed that we don't get any more. It hasn't rained here for 2 weeks. So, again, we said this last week, it's like Groundhog Day, but you'd expect a good track, but don't hold your breath.
Oh, exactly right. Mark Rhoden, you've been busy doing the form for not only Randwick, but Kensington and Gosford and also Kembla. How are you finding the sifting through the 20-odd races?
Well, this meeting was great. I mean, and Sunday doesn't look too bad either. The provincials are a bit more of a slog, but yeah, it's going to be a big day today. Get through them all, but I think this is a more enticing meeting than probably even either of the 2 championships meetings in my view. I think it's a great card.
Beautiful. Well, we're going to start at race 2, work our way through the card. Race 2 is the JHB Carr Stakes over 1,400 metres for the 3-year-old fillies, otherwise known as Rob Scurry's wheelhouse in terms of the market. Kiku's favourite at around the 280 mark, best available. Matchmakers 380. You're upwards for the rest. Mark Shean, I'll start with yourself. Did anything take your eye in race 2?
Look, I'm going to stick with Kiko. I know she's back in distance, and there doesn't look to be a lot of speed, but I think she will race closer from a better draw. She was about 5th or 6th in the run when she won on the Kensington track. She did go further back at Warwick Farm prior to that. But I think she came from really an impossible position when she won the other day. She was 3 wide and a limb all the way. I know it was better off the rail, but thought she did a good job. She's back to her own sex here, and I think she'll continue on her winning way myself. So number 2, Kiku for me.
Mark Rhoden, how do you see it?
Similar. I think Mark's been with Kiku all 3 of her wins this preparation. I was on the first 2. I didn't bet last time. I didn't bet in the race. In fact, I was worried about the map, which Mark touched on there. I thought the map was against her, but she overcame it. I think the key to this race is it looks to be no speed. And despite dropping back from 1,600 to 1,400, I expect her to be close enough from barrier 5 tomorrow, Kiku. And I think she's got the best turn of foot in the race. I think that's what won Hungry Heart the Oaks in a slowly run race. Now, this is only 1,400, not 2,400. It's the same, you know, in a scenario like that, best sprint often wins. And I think Kiku fits the bill here, and I think 280 is pretty acceptable. So I'll be with her.
Okay. Positive way to start the card. Race 3 is the Frank Packer over 2,000 metres, Group 2. Lions Roar is odds on at the moment, and you've got Quay and High Supremacy also in the market. So it's $1.90 versus $3.50, $3.70. So all 3 are basically priced well and truly shorter than the rest of the field. Next in line is Achiever at $34. Mark Shean, Lions Roar's been a horse that you've been following for a fair amount of its career at various stages. Are you siding with it here?
Look, I think he looks hard to beat. This is another race that is devoid of pace. So, you know, you'll probably get a pattern after the first 2 races whether you can make ground. He'll be in the back half of the field. So I think that will decide how I'll bet on the race. I think Quay's the one who gets the map favours here, but he has sort of stopped pretty quickly there his last 2 runs, although I've got to say he didn't parade all that great before the Derby, to my eye. He looked like he wasn't great in the coat, and he still looked like maybe in the run would suit him. But maybe that's the style of horse he is, though. Maybe he's a gross type. I haven't seen enough of him. But he probably gets the map favours here. So if it's a bias track towards leaders, I think Quay's the one that falls in. If you can make ground, I'd rather be on Lions Roar.
Yeah. He certainly paraded like that first up at Caulfield, like he had a heap of improvement to come, but obviously that hasn't arrived just yet. Mark Rhoden, Lions Roar, you backing, laying, or you staying out?
I'd be inclined to lay him with the map. Also, he's gone to his very best in the Derby, and very different setup here. Quakeway's the one I'm leaning to. Also, Rob said to me before the Derby he's got improvement to come. Now, that could be just him, but he was the winner on the turn, I thought. I was on him that day. And either his fitness has given out or he hasn't stayed. And either way, back to 2000s, soft run on speed suits him. So I think I'll be with him. Lions Raw on figures is the best horse in the race, but I just think he maps poorly. High Supremacy, everyone saw he was unlucky in the Carbine Club. Yeah, I suppose he's looking for 2,000 metres. I'm not 100% sure Gate 2's great for him, unless he can sit very handy. But yeah, it does look to set up nicely for Quakeway. I've got them much closer together in the market than the actual market, so Quakeway for me.
Okay. Race 4 is also a Group 3 over 2,000 metres, the JRA Plate. Zaki is favourite, $2.70 from Entente, $4.20. Hangman's coming up from Victoria, $8. Polygray's $9. Double figures for the rest of them. Mark Shean, are you leaning any way in race 4?
Well, it looks another walking race, just looking at the map, and I think that favours Entente. I was surprised he gave the lead up to Shared Ambition at Rosehill the other day in a very slowly run race. They sprinted home very fast splits there, the best 600 and 400 of the day. So I would expect him to go to the front here. And if there's a bias towards the on paces, I'd rather be on Entente. Look, Zaki had the flashing light on in the Doncaster, but that was a wet track and he got genuine pace all the way. So whether he can repeat that going to 59 kilos on a drier deck and with a different sort of tempo, not sure that I want to take 240 to find out. He might just have too much class for them, but I'd rather be an Entente who should be in the right position.
Okay. Mark Rhoden, your thoughts there?
Yeah, I too was surprised Entente handed up to Shared Ambition last time, but I'm very glad he did. I was on Shared Ambition. A very easy race to watch for me. But yeah, I couldn't get Zaki as short as the market. If anything, I've got Entente a touch shorter than he is. Best price at the moment, so it's not a race I have to bet in. But if I was to back anything at this stage, it would be Entente. Polly Gray, the race panned out really well for her the other day, but the fact of the matter is this is 2000's her ideal trip, and she's clearly racing well, and she's down to 53.5. I think she's got a chance. Hangman's flying in Victoria, but it looks to map terribly to me. I couldn't have him with that setup. And the one I'll be looking for improvement for is the import Zarek. Just had absolutely no chance the way the track was playing first up, and up to a more suitable trip and that run under his belt. I think he should improve. Market keeping him safe at around $10. He's very hard to price, but I think he is a very likely improver. Yeah, no bet at this stage, but Entente if anything.
Yeah, he looked a bit soft, that Zarek, the other day, so I think yard would be pretty important for him.
Yep.
Okay, race 5 is the Hallmark Stakes over 1,200 metres. 11.11 leads a pretty open market, $3.70 from Senior Fox, around $5. Splintex is $6.50. You've got Rohirrim and Victorium about $7. Mark Shean, who's your leader here?
Well, Alpha Auro's come out now, so I would say Splintex will drive forward from out wide with Easy Eddie, and that's the reason I like Splintex. Look, his 2 runs are 4-0, but I reckon both runs have been pretty good. He got checked in the race that Eduardo won, and then at Rose Hill he was 6 wide on a limb all the way with the rail, the best place to be. So I think this is a much better setup for him. And I think at the price he'll give you a good side. I'm already on him, so 2 Splintex for me. I thought Deprive was a lot better with the blinkers on at Rose Hill, and he's got much better Randwick form than Rose Hill. Obviously 11.11's dropping down in class, but not sure where he's going to get to from that barrier, and if they pull up in front, might face the task. So I'm on Splintex and fingers crossed.
Okay, very good. Mark Rhoden, do you have anything for us in race 5?
Yeah, I do. Well, the first thing I'd say is I couldn't have 11.11 favourite from that alley. I mean, it's TJ Smith back to this, so that's why he appears the obvious, I suppose, but not from that gate for me. I've actually landed on one when I first saw the fields. I thought, well, I'll be against this one because I've had all favours last time, and that's Signore Fox. Now, he did have the rails in run spot at Rose Hill when that was a big advantage. But a few others did that day too. Easy Eddie was one, and he won pretty decisively, and he was trialling really well before that. I think he just appears to have come back in probably career best form. Even taking him back a smidge for that for the good run he got. I've still got him on top, so I think I'll back him. He's going to get a very good run with McDonald sticking again, so I think $5 is an acceptable price. Then going further than him, I think Splintex. I think Victorian's probably past his best. I haven't got Splintex overs in my market, and then you're out to things like Deprive and Rahiran, who just always get back. And that's 6 metre rail at 1200 Randwick. I don't really want to be on that type of horse, even though Deprive actually has a pretty good record at track and field. So almost by a process of elimination, I've landed on Signore Fox. I think $5 is okay.
All right. First leg of the quaddie, Group 1 for the 2-year-olds over the mile, and Hilal is favourite at $3.50. Captivant's 4, Conversion 6, everything else is into double figures. Mark Shean, 2-year-olds up to 1,600. Does any of them profile to you like the likely winner here?
Look, I've been on Halal every start, so I have to go to the well one more time. I just think he's been really poorly ridden or negatively ridden in his last 3 and sort of really hasn't been given a chance. I'm hoping for barrier number 4 that they take a little bit more initiative and ride him a little bit closer. To my eye, that size form and that lead up at Rosehill does look better form. Against that, of course, sometimes those horses don't progress to run the mile, whereas Converge and Gin Martini look like they'll get a mile for sure. So that's the thing that you've got to take into account. But I think Kalal's got the class, been running in the better races. Captivant, probably the danger. And I think Gin Martini's a big improver. Obviously bungled the start there. Rosehill ran a good race to start before at Randwick and on the Kenzo, and definitely looks like it'll lap up 1,600.
Yeah, it certainly looks like that based off its late sectionals. Mark Rhoden, is there any tips that you have for the punters at home if they're looking to try and find horses that will be better suited stepping up in distance?
Just pretty standard stuff. Breeding's a good guide if they're unknown at it sometimes, and your sectional data. Yep. Sectional data can be misleading if it's out of slow paces. Horses that have run a good last 200 over 1,400, if it's a walk, that's absolutely no guarantee they'll run 1,600. But yeah, just watching your tapes, all the stock standard sort of stuff. I'm with Halal too. I haven't actually backed him yet, and I'm thinking about chiming in at around 5-2. I think that's backable. It's certainly D-Day for him. There's been a lot of excuses for him, but drawn a gate. If they ride him back from barrier 4, there really should be a Royal Commission into it. There's no excuse not to at least be midfield and maybe even closer than that from this gate. He came from behind Captivant and was stronger on the line in the size, so I certainly lean to him out of that form race. Converge just is on the upward spiral and already won at a mile, 7-day backup. I think he's in the race. I think $6 is about right. I don't think it's a bet at that price, but I expect him to run well again. And the other one Mark mentioned as well, Gin Martini. Missed the start and then came through in the right part of the track at Rosehill, but it was hammering home, especially compared to Converge in the same race. So it can step and be maybe just off midfield. It can be in the finish too. I thought Port Louis is an interesting runner, number 10. It's been spec'd overnight too, I see. Just wish it hadn't drawn barrier 14, then I might be interested in specking it myself. But it's I think it's a genuine improver. 1,200 up to 1,600 is a bit strange, but I'm not surprised to see money for it. But yeah, going to try and not to overthink this race too much and probably just stick with the obvious, which is Halal.
Okay, like it. Race 7, all aged, another Group 1, weight for age over 1,400. Masked Crusader is favourite at $3. Then you're up to Savatiano around 7, Cascadian $9.50, Tagaloa and Colding at 11, Dreamforce 12. Mark Shean, Masked Crusader. Tommy Berry's back on board, so it's not Garen McAvoy.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on that runner?
Well, I think that the map and the pattern of the track is so important to this horse. He's missed the start at his last couple. He's got barrier 12. It does look to be genuine pace, though. If you've got Dreamforce drawn wide, you'd think he'd have to hurdle across. Seventiano wouldn't want to be going back. Peltzer up in distance, probably rolls forward. So I'd expect a genuine pace. Against that, he has got that bad marble and probably be giving him a big start. So if he's on the blow, though, and, the leaders are winning, he might get to a silly price. At the moment, I'm probably going to be on Savatiano just from the map, and I'm going to have something an eye on Superman. Probably more a handicapper, but I think a dry track, and he's trialled really well since that last win where he beat the Rider winner. So I think he's a bit of value in the race. Obviously, Mars Crusader, the best horse in the race. Coaling back to a dry track, drawn well as well. So it's an interesting race, but for the record, number 10, but it's a tricky race.
What did you think of Tagaloa? He's obviously had the one trial since his last start there in the Australian Guineas.
Yeah, I saw that. Look, I don't know about the 3-year-olds. I'm going to let him go.
Okay. Mark Rhoden, your thoughts on the all-aged?
Really similar. I couldn't take $3 Mars Crusader from that barrier. No accident, it drew 12 apparently, according to the they picked it first and then randomly selected the rest.
What happened at Moonee Valley?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And what did it draw last week? 1 or 2 or something? Anyway,
It drew 4 the other day, didn't it?
Yeah, 4. That's right. Yeah, it's I think the conspiracy theorists have got him there. But he has ended up with 12, and I don't want to back him from 12 at $3. Mark makes a good point. It could, if it got to $4, then you'd be saying, "Oh, hang on, this is the best horse in the race. This is clearly the best horse in the race. We have to take the punt." But he's $3 very best at the moment. That's too short for me. Not a race I want to get heavily involved in. I've come up with Dreamforce, 8-year-old, nearly 9-year-old, who was back to something like his best in the rider, and is the sort of horse that, when he finds form, tends to hold it very honest, tough on pacer. And if the track's playing that way, some of his better wins over his career have been when the track's been playing on pace and he's taken advantage of it. So at double figure odds, I'll be happy to give him a go, but it won't be for sheep stations.
Okay. Race 8 is a benchmark 100 in terms of the market. We have, it's pretty wide open, but Nudge is slight favourite at $5 from Star Spangled Rodeo, $5.50. You've got Facedos, Bottega, Rocket Clock around that $8 mark. Everything else is double figures. Mark Shean, can you find an angle here for us?
Look, I've been on Nudge both runs this time in. It's defied the bias at Rose Hill, where it's come down absolutely quagmire sections of the track and still made ground. Look, if Kathy can get this into a decent spot from barrier number 4, I think it's primed to win this race. It's paraded well before its last 2 runs. Looks to be a lot more speed in the race here to suit with Arapaho, Cuba, Star Spangled Rodeo. So there should be a bit more genuine pace than she's encountered the last couple of starts. So I think if she gets to luck, she looks very hard to beat to my eye. I think Facedos' trial well. He was a bit dour at the end of his preparation last time in, but always races well fresh and likes 1400. So I've got 14 on top.
Okay. Mark Rhoden, benchmark 100. Anything for yourself in this race?
This is a deep, deep race.
Yeah.
Nudge was enormous last start. I'm just terrified of it. It's open favourite now, admittedly $5 favourite, but just don't make the Cath $5. Oh, God, that just puts my teeth on edge. I mean, I
know you want
to be on the horse, but I don't know, at 52, the pool's a bit limited, but I just want a bit better than $5, to be quite honest with you. And Cat's going okay, really, but you just can't consider it a plus, that jockey change. So going a bit wide, I'm going to believe the figures I've got from Europe that this Arapaho's probably a bit smarter than the handicapper rating suggests, and he might be well in with 53 here. Didn't beat anything in his trial at Hawkesbury, but he's stylish doing it. He should race on pace on the evidence of that from 3. I don't think he'll lead, but I think he'll be fairly handy, getting the right run. And they've got C. Williams has taken the ride. So as Dicko keeps reminding us about how much he loves cash, so he wouldn't be doing this just to have a spin around Randwick. And I think at double figure odds, he's well worth the spec. Nudge, clear and present danger. Would not be at all surprised to see if Cat gives it the right run to come out and win by a length or 2. Star Spangled Radio, what a prep he has had, and he's not another right style of horse for the way we expect the track to play. He just sticks himself in the race. Great horse to back, but geez, he's been to the absolute red zone, what I think he's capable of, a few times now. He's got to come up at some stage, but tell you what, if he keeps running to that level, he's in the finish again for sure. I think that the Tiger was unsuited last time and very good first up. It's in the race. And it doesn't end there. Rocket Clock bound to win. They're all sneaky chances at odds. Really, really good benchmark race, this one. But yeah, betting wise, I'm going to go with this import, Arapaho.
A big watch on number 3, Cuba. If Rob Scurry finds that out of the yard, it's, as he refers to, his old boyfriend. But
was it. Were you at Caulfield?
It paraded very well, very forward.
400 metres.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sometimes you never know.
Yeah.
Race 9, benchmark 88. Market has Selena Dreaming and Lost and Running equal favourite at $3.60. More profits at $6. Everything else double figures. Mark Shean, anything the last for you?
Yeah, well, this market will change a bit if More Profits decides to go to Sunday, so that's taking up a bit of percentage there. Look, I was on Selena Dreaming when it won first up at Warwick Farm, and it was going to win from about 2 strides after they jumped. Look, she was trained right up. So that's the only negative I could find with her, that, she was really ready to go first up and maybe mightn't produce it second up, but she's got no weight and a good barrier, and she does love dry tracks. So I think she'll be in the perfect spot to run a good race here. Lost and Running, probably a little bit disappointing the other day. Didn't beat much the run before. I don't know if I could come at him, so... I think one here that paraded a bit big at Canterbury, Bow Ideal, could run an improved race. To my eye, looked like the run would certainly improve. He made some late ground there on a track where it was hard to make ground. So I'm on 12 and save on 5, but it looks a bit better in the yard.
Okay. $26 for Bow Ideal at the moment. Mark Rhoden, any thoughts here in the last race?
I think it's a great race for an 88. It's a really good race. I was a bit disappointed when I saw the market. I did the form before I'd seen a market, and I thought, well, they're going to, on SP profile, put up Lost and Running short again, and they're going to half miss Selena Dreaming and More Profits, and they didn't. They had Selena Dreaming. I've got Selena Dreaming favourite, but I was hoping for a bit better price. Just going to wait and see what the market does. Mark's spot on about that. That was a dominant win at Warwick Farm, and it wasn't a bad Wednesday mare's field either, and she absolutely obliterated them. She's a group horse, in my opinion, for sure one day. And she struck a very competitive 88 here, but I think she's the one to beat. I just like a touch better at price. Lost and Running, yeah, he's gone to the same level all 3 runs this prep, which just, in theoretical terms, suggests he's got another level in him. You wouldn't say he was going to improve a couple of lengths off Canterbury just to the eye, but he's just got a really solid level of performances, and he could go to another level. That said, I don't have him marked favourite, so I couldn't be backing him at this stage, but I'm not completely discounting him. More Profits went out at her peak. I think she's a chance down in the weights. And I was on Enchanted Heart at 25s when it rolled over Lost and Running at Canterbury. Yep. Meets him slightly worse off at the weights, but against that, she was first up that day, and 1100 isn't her trip, in my opinion, so she should tighten up off that, and the extra 100 metre suits her, so that could easily offset that little weight swing, and I think she probably shouldn't be double-figure odds, but that said, she's the one giving weight to some pretty smart horses now, so that's against a very, very competitive race. That's my orders: Selena Dreaming, Lost and Running, More Profits, Enchanted Heart, but just going to have to watch the market.
Yep, sounds like there's plenty to happen between now and jump time, that's for sure, both in the yard and also in terms of final field. That brings us to the end. We'll run through best, any value bets, any lay bets you're having as well. Mark Shean, I'll start with you.
Well, I think Kiko will win again. As I said, I've had something on Splintex in race 5, so I think it'll give you a good side up on the speed. I'm hoping Kathy can get nudged into a reasonable position in race number 8, so I think they're my best for the day.
Beautiful. Mark Rhoden, you're coming off a winning set at Canterbury, so looking forward to seeing what you throw out, both in terms of the early staking plan and then also as the day unfolds. But is there anything you like at this stage?
I think Kiko's the best bet of the day. I think Arapaho, if he runs up to those overseas figures, is good value at double-figure odds, and I like one at big odds on the highway, but I might save that for the subs, actually. It's around $20 at the moment, so I might be thinking of that one.
Okay, excellent. I like that. Thank you very much to you both for joining me. We'll catch up on Monday. We'll review the final Group 1 meeting of the season and push on to Hawkesbury next week. But it's a busy weekend coming up. Enjoy the next couple of days of the punt.
Thank you.